Any questions or comments in the room?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you, both Lauren and Luis. And here, yes. I wanted to thank you because how important is to listen to you, how important is to listen to the patients' organizations, to tell us what is relevant and what is not relevant. So I really appreciate your presence here and your support, and your words should be our guidance. So this is why we're doing what we're doing. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your contribution. Also, what you have put out on the net. I think it's very important to understand how the things we talk about are received. One thing I'm not so sure I understand is why genome editing is a better word than gene editing, because I think somehow genome editing is kind of leading to changing everything and making completely new humans. Whereas, I mean, what we have a chance is monogenetic diseases, and that is gene editing and not genome editing. If you could comment on that, because you made a big point of that.
I think when they were running the workshops, and at this stage we're looking very much for things to be as clear as possible. And I think there was some confusion that came out through the sessions around, if you talk just about gene editing, then people don't necessarily understand that that could mean the whole genome. Whereas if you're talking about the whole genome and you've already explained to people that that's made up of genes, there's an implication there that that includes the genes. Does that make sense? I don't know if I've answered that very well.
I would like to add that this also depends heavily on the language. For instance, in Spanish, it doesn't work, genome editing. Genome editing doesn't sound right. So this is why we're using genetic editing, if I would be immediately translated from Spanish. So it heavily depends. As you said, genome sounds smaller. For you, doesn't sound smaller to me. But that definitely depends on different cultures, different countries, different languages.
Hello, my name is Uygar Tazebay from Turkey. Now, United Kingdom is a knowledge society, but in this room there are people from different countries. For instance, I am from Turkey. And sometimes patients that come to the clinic with a genetic disease, they are illiterate people from the depths of Eastern Anatolia. So it is nearly impossible to inform them about stem cells, what is a gene, what is CRISPR, and so on. Even myself, for instance, I was reading things on Cas9, and there are also research on Cas12, Cas13. We were focusing on genome editing, and now we are thinking about RNA editing and so on and so forth. So sometimes even I myself, I feel lost in the field, let alone someone from depths of Anatolia, truly illiterate. So sometimes, on one hand, I want to get the opinion of Louise on how she managed to stay in this information. And also, sometimes I feel perhaps we have to have another institution, like a patient representative, that would make an intermediary, person between the MD and the patient. So perhaps in time we will see, like genetic counselors, birth of a new group or institution or profession, which is advocate of patient or patient representative. Thank you.
I think it's a really valid point, and I think especially so our organisation tries to do that as much as possible, to try and make sure that as all the advancements are happening, we can be checking in with all of our member organisations to try and ensure that they can be educated as far as they need to be able to have those conversations, but to protect them from getting lost in the detail. But I think it's a really interesting idea of maybe the genetic counsellor role changes, or they become almost a translator, isn't it? Yeah.